Hello and welcome back to Apex Megalith. When people think of Manhattan, the first images that come to mind are bustling streets and towering skyscrapers. It's a place where over 1.6 million people live and work, with every square foot of land commanding astronomical price. In a densely packed metropolis, the idea of abandoned buildings, especially skyscrapers, seems unimaginable. Yet hidden in plain sight along Manhattan's financial district, right by East River, stands a haunting monument to mismanagement and fortune. One Seaport resident, better known as 161 Maiden Lane. Construction of this ambitious project began in 2015, with developers promising ultra-luxurious experiences unlike any other. However, nearly a decade later, the building is still unfinished. To understand how this prime piece of real estate turned into one of New York's most visible failures, we need to rewind to the site's origins and follow the series of unfortunate events that led to the downfall. The site where 161 Maiden Lane now stands has a long and storied history. In the 20th century, the area was bustling with maritime and industrial activity. However, by the 1960s, much of the waterfront industry vanished. Developers proposed various ambitious ideas for the project over the years, including plans related to the original World Trade Center and Guggenheim Museum branches by famed architect Frank Gehry. Yet none of these visions materialized. As the financial district evolved, Manhattan saw an unprecedented boom in residential real estate. Ultra-luxury condos were rapidly reshaping the city's skyline. The land at Maiden Lane, a modestly sized parking lot next to the East River, seemed perfect for a new high-end development. Over time, the plot changed ownership, first acquired by Blue Rock Properties and then K Development, which was proposing a tower called the Seaport. The project never took off, and eventually in 2013, the land was sold to a new developer, Fortis Property Group, for a reported $65 million. Fortis divided their acquisition, selling the western portion to another developer for a commercial project while reserving the eastern lot for a grand vision, One Seaport, a 670-foot tall, nearly 60-story luxury condo tower. When Fortis unveiled plans for the building, it sounded like a dream come true for wealthy buyers. Touted as the next first all-glass condo luxury in the Seaport area, the tower promised breathtaking floor-to-ceiling windows, premium finishes, and world-class amenities. Units were designed to be exclusive, with most floors housing just one or two apartments. Only 80 units would occupy the tower, driving up its prestige and exclusivity. Pricing was similarly ambitious. Square footage costs were projected to range from $2,000 to $3,000 per square foot, with average listings around $3.5 million. Full floor units would exceed $7 million, while the two-story penthouse was priced at around $8 million. To sweeten the deal, residents would gain access to lavish amenities, including an indoor pool, retail spaces on the ground floor, and even complimentary yacht bookings 3 times a week. Fortis was confident a full sellout would bring in an estimated $272 million. Early signs were positive. By 2016, roughly 50% of the building's units were already under contract. The general contractor, Pizzarati LLC, assured the construction would proceed smoothly, and the tower would be ready for occupancy in 2018. But almost immediately, cracks, both figurative and literal, began to appear. During the vertical construction phase in 2017, the project faced numerous safety violations. The New York Department of Buildings issued 10 citations to the contractors for a range of safety infractions. Then tragedy struck. A 44-year-old Ecuadorian construction worker who wasn't even scheduled to work that day fell nearly 30 stories to his death. The contractor, Pizzarati, ultimately pleaded guilty to manslaughter, though the penalty, a mere $10,000 fine, outraged many. No executives or site managers were sentenced to jail. By late 2018, construction slowed significantly. Though the tower had topped out, meaning its final height was reached, issues were arising. The Department of Buildings repeatedly halted construction over safety violations. Despite the chaos, though, cladding installation, the process of attaching the glass exterior, continued slowly. The giant construction crane was eventually removed in early 2019, yet something was wrong. Progress was slowed to a near halt, and rumors began swirling the tower was leaning. Speculation was confirmed in April 2019 when Pizzarati filed a lawsuit against Fortis. The lawsuit alleged the developer had made catastrophic mistakes in the foundation process. Rather than using traditional deep pilings to anchor the building, a standard practice for skyscrapers, especially slender ones, Fortis allegedly opted for a cheaper soil chemical treatment to solidify the ground. According to the lawsuit, this decision led the building to settle unevenly, resulting in a 3-inch lean to the north. Pizzarati claimed this imperfection made it impossible to continue safe construction, potentially leading to elevator malfunctions, leaks, and infrastructure failure. Fortis continued on with its own lawsuit, accusing the contractor of defamation and negligence, arguing that Pizzarati's poor work practices were to blame. Meanwhile, Fortis hired a new contractor, Ray Builders, who conducted studies concluding that while the tower was slightly misaligned, it was structurally safe. Construction resumed with slight modifications to account for the lean. For a brief moment, it seemed the project was saved. That hope was short-lived. Ray Builders abruptly pulled all workers off-site, claiming Fortis had failed to pay them. It soon emerged that Fortis was in serious financial trouble. The developer's lender, Bank Leumi, filed a foreclosure lawsuit alleging Fortis had defaulted on its $120 million loan. Simultaneously, another lender sued Fortis over the mishandling of a $66 million loan. Lawsuits piled up and construction grounds began to a permanent halt. With new cash or workers and mounting legal battles, one Seaport resident slipped into a purgatory state, technically standing tall but lifeless. Among all the original buyers pulling out, leaving Fortis without the financial backing needed to salvage the project. Half a decade of exposure to harsh weather was further deteriorating the building. The lower floor's glass cladding shows visible mildew and weather damage, and parts of the exposed concrete are scarred by the elements. Graffiti has even appeared on the upper unfinished floors, a haunting symbol of abandonment. At the street level, the site resembles a typical construction project, security cameras monitoring the site, and a lone fan sitting atop a folding chair. But construction is non-existent. At night, eerie lights illuminate the structure, a ghostly reminder of what could have been. At this point, the future of 161 is incredibly uncertain. Fortis claims the building is structurally safe, describing the lean as merely an alignment issue. However, they have not publicly shared detailed engineering studies or proposed solutions to fix the tilt. This makes it hard to gauge whether the building could feasibly be completed or if it will be unsafe for residential use. Comparisons have been drawn to San Francisco's Millennium Tower, another luxury skyscraper plagued by sinking and leaning issues. There, extensive and costly underpinning efforts are underway to stabilize the tower. The success has been mixed and costs have ballooned to over $100 million. A similar repair project at one Seaport would likely be extremely expensive and could be financially disastrous given the project's already shaky foundation. If the tower is deemed unsafe or too costly, demolition may be the only option, an unthinkable end for a brand new luxury condo tower in Manhattan, where land alone is worth millions. High-profile individuals were among those who initially bought into the dream. Celebrity real estate agent Frederick Eklund, star of Million Dollar Listing New York, not only purchased a duplex in the tower, but also represented its listings early on. Unsurprisingly, he, along with many others, have pulled out the deal. Early footage of the project and its flashy marketing pitches were even featured on episodes of Million Dollar Listings. However, it's notably difficult to find these episodes now on major streaming platforms, a somewhat ironic twist that underlines how thoroughly everyone wants to distance themselves from this disaster. The saga of one Seaport resident at 161 Maiden Lane is a case study in how cutting corners, financial mismanagement, and hubris can topple even the most promising real estate dreams. What should have been a shining addition to New York's skyline is instead a cautionary tale, a 60-story reminder that even the world's richest city, with ambition and not accountability, can lead to monumental failure. As legal battles drag on, the once gleaming tower continues to weather away, its fate hanging in limbo. Until real action is taken, the Leaning Tower of Maiden Lane will stand as one of the most surreal sights in a city known for constant change, a billion-dollar mistake frozen in concrete and glass.